while I was operating the switch, it got stuck or frozen right halfway, and it pulled back, and whole arm went numbed, and then I knew something was wrong.
In order to move a switch, to throw a switch, you've got to be able to move a rail that weighs hundreds of pounds. The most commonly asked question in a switch case is, do I have a case? Because most railroad workers don't know what facts are needed to base a case. In a switch case, the most common types of injuries are back injuries, shoulder injuries. I've even had knee and ankle injuries, because oftentimes when you're throwing the switch, the footing gives way, causing the knee or ankle to be injured.
Anytime a railroad worker is injured at work, they definitely need to report it, but they also take a picture of it. Write down as much information as they can. Who, what, when, where, and how.
We advocate for railroad employees, their family members, and that's what we're available to do for them, is to answer the questions that they can't get from their employer.
Didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I had to go to a doctor, which doctor I had to see. And I met Jamie Holland 2 days after I was hurt. He was referred to me by a friend. He was always there for me. He never gave up. And he said, your case is worth this much. And he knew what he was doing.
Frank's decision to get help early, to hire a lawyer early, turned out to be critical. Frank had what's called a labral tear. He also had a rotator cuff tear. So Frank, a young man, had now a damaged rotator cuff and a damaged labrum. His railroad career was over. And the railroad took a very hard line.
My wife was the only one working, and we were almost broke, and there were times where I was ready to settle with the company, and Jamie was there to say, no, your case is worth more than that, and we'll go all the way to the end.
We asked for the entire inspection records for that line of rail. The railroad put the maintenance man on the stand, and we walked him through those records, because I'd gone through those records detail by detail. I'd measured from one switch to another. I knew exactly how far he had to walk. I knew how much time it was going to take. He had to acknowledge to the jury that the switch that injured Frank Rodriguez wasn't even listed in his inspection report.
Jamie is very, very knowledgeable about the railroad. He knows actually more than actually people working on the railroad. So, and he has a team of experts that they are probably the best out there.
Everything a jury comes to expect when they turn on their TV, we provided them in the courtroom. We asked the jury in Frank Rodriguez's case for $2.2 million. After a few hours of deliberation, they gave us every penny we asked for.
Thanks to Jamie, we are who we are now. My wife and I, my family will always be grateful about your job, and just to keep it up and keep helping people around, and Jamie helps people. Jamie helps people.
He is a very successful man back on track because he got help early, and we dug down and got him the information he needed to win. If you get help quickly, you're better able to preserve the evidence, which protects your claim and your rights.